Marijuana is a really hot topic out there. It's used for a lot of different things medically. Is it necessary?
Let's talk weed. No, no. The bottom line is it's on the ballot in a lot of states. It has been legalized. There are various levels of legalization. There's legalized medical marijuana. There's legalized recreational marijuana. Um, from the standpoint, just as a holistic thing, um, we need to be cautious with the recreational marijuana. That's just my opinion because anything that is neurotoxic, we've got to be cautious with that because people need to be able to critically think. And I've also seen people that have utilized legalized recreational marijuana sort of bottom out their neurotransmitters where they really can become quite depressed or quite low in their mood.
Well, now I will be the first to admit that I am not a marijuana expert and I don't do physical exams
Yeah,
for medical or clinical use, but I know that it has a lot of clinical uses, and
does.
we'll talk about that in a minute. But one of the things I do know is that there are specific genes in the brain that have a specific sensitivity to this substance where if a person gets a hit of it, they can become psychotic or can change their behavior very quickly.
That is a great point. And there is, we do a ton of genetics. We actually test that one. And so, interesting enough, we've had a couple of cases. We didn't do the marijuana prescription, but we've
Well,
had
it
a
was
couple
it was
cases.
it's recreational.
Yeah, it was recreational where a person did do that and then started walking out in front of cars trying to get hit because obviously that person most likely has that SNP, single nucleotide polymorphism, in their genes that actually causes that receptor,
Psychosis.
psychosis of marijuana. So you got to be careful about that. But there is a patent. The United States government holds a patent for pain relief of marijuana,
Well,
which is good.
that is why researchers are studying marijuana more and more and more for the treatment of a number of conditions, especially pain.
Yep.
Cancer pain is brutal. We know that a lot of times at end of life on cancer, people end up on morphine and heavy narcotics, which
Yep.
actually create all kinds of crazy side effects like hallucinations or ants crawling on the skin where marijuana doesn't seem to do that.
No, I think that I'm a big supporter of, palliative care, things like that, where people are, having difficult pain issues. I would be very supportive of that over things like chronic morphine, for example, right? At the same time, we've got to really understand that everybody can be in pain from time to time. And so that can't become the thing that drives the prescription all the time because if it is, we're not getting behind the cause of the pain. Sometimes the cause of the pain is things that we need to do, things that we are doing, or things that we could be doing, and we're actually the cause of it, or some things that we don't know that we need to do to relieve the pain. We don't want to go towards just the remedy of turning off the noise of pain without talking about the cause of the pain and remediating the cause. So, it's we're for it in a sense, but we've got to be very cautious of it.
Now, another thing that I've seen clinically is there are a lot of people that have chronic problems with insomnia, and they've gone
Mm,
to
yep.
doctor after doctor and sought medication after medication. And some of these medications actually have pretty significant side effects, like walking in their sleep
Oh,
in the nighttime and eating in the nighttime and doing crazy things. Whereas the marijuana prescription has actually helped chronic insomniacs finally get the sleep or the rest that they need without the side effects.
totally. It does produce anti-anxiety. It can give you the munchies. That's just need to know that. I'm talking about THC or the tetrahydrocannabidiol. That's the thing. Now, there's also full spectrum hemp that has the cannabidiol in it, but doesn't have the level of neurotoxic THC. That also can be very good to be used for the same thing you're talking about for sleep. And many times it works just as good because it's both the THC and the full spectrum hemp are both anti-anxiolytic. They both are, except the full spectrum hemp doesn't create the munchies with it, right? So the munchies could create, inappropriate weight gain, which is not a good thing. So, but people are using it to sleep and they are using it to, kind of tone the stress down of life.
It's also, when you say the munchies, it has been used a lot in medical circles for the person who has cachectic weight loss from
That's
cancers
right.
or GI dysfunction. So it does help them have an appetite.
It does, and I had an experience with it from a whole different angle, seizures. Right? It has been used in children that have had epileptic seizures with some success. And I remember having a guy that I used to work with that had to, because it wasn't legal in our state at the time, had to pick up his family, move to another state so his daughter could have what she needed because it kept it under control. So there's obviously something out there. It is a plant. You always have to watch too, folks, the way it's bred today, because there is a natural level of THC in the natural growth of the crop, but you can actually genetically alter it to create more THC than probably it normally would have. Don't know the effects of that. And I suppose when you genetically alter something, it does and has unintended consequences.
There is something that's been very, very hard to treat in the medical world, and that's called PTSD,
That's right.
post-traumatic stress disorder. And all different kinds of drugs have been used, including benzodiazepines, antidepressants, bipolar medications, et cetera, and otherwise, and it doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
Even counseling, neurofeedback, just different brain retraining things don't work. And there are studies that are starting to come forward that say that a little THC may actually be helpful in these individuals.
I totally agree. I'd rather somebody do a little THC in situations like that than live with that post-traumatic stress disorder and be addicted to sort of these hardcore narcotics. It's just not good. I think that, and please understand, folks, we are um, having this discussion with a little temperance and moderation of balance here, because I want you to not rely on just PTSD. I got PTSD, so therefore I've got PTSD. Stop. Try to fix it on your own and correct it on your own. Do some things with clinician help to try to work through it before you got to go down the pathway and just accept that you got it. Life is hard. And you're going to have stuff come at you. Some is your fault, some is not, some is traumatic, some is not. But, THC can be used as a benefit at times. Does it need to be a fallback all the time? I don't think so. So this is a huge discussion. Obviously, we just kind of touched the surface of it, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight to, where and how it can be used appropriately.
And when you navigate through these economies with people, here's what happens. We want to hold their hand through it, let them know when it's time to buy, sell, reallocate, get out of Dodge. Because a lot of times when you're struck with fear does two things. Number one, it can paralyze, and people just put their head in the sand and say, I'm just going to forget about it and hopefully it gets better. Or it causes you to make a wrong decision. And this is why we are here, is to help people navigate through the political quagmire nonsense that's going on, the economic malaise, and the absolute collapse that we're seeing. And when our freedoms are eroding, our political freedoms, our economic freedoms, our personal freedoms, our religious freedoms, our health freedoms, they're all tied together. But you know what doesn't need to erode with that? Our finances.
KirkElliottPhD.com/Sherwood.
Hey friends, you already know the answer to this, but we'll ask you anyway. If you stay away from your favorite junk food for a month and then go back to supersizing it, will your health improve?
Well, that's the thing about change. To change, we have to be as consistent as possible.
And when we go back to an old habit, it's not the end of the world. We just get back at the new habit.
Before you know it, real transformation is evident to you and others.
That's why we offer a bunch of helpful bonuses when you subscribe to Kingdom Fuel.
Kingdom Fuel is our complete nutritional meal shake.
It's the simple start to a transformed life, and we'll auto ship every month so you don't run out.
You'll receive 2 free shaker cups, free access to our video courses, and a monthly call with us filled with practical inspiration.
Just see the link below or on your screen and subscribe today.
The body's amazing at recovery, so you want to give it every chance, no matter what time it is. So in that context, no, it's certainly never too late. You're never too old to start trying to be healthy.
No matter where you are in terms of your health, that you can turn this around.
It's never too late to start a wellness program, and it's never too late to reach your healthcare goals. There's an old adage, and I'm not sure where it came from, but I really do like it. And they say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is today.
We just want people to hang on to hope.
We are hope dealers. And if you are not paying attention to the 4 foundational pillars of health, physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual, eventually it is going to catch up.
If we get all those 4 areas right, and we do it right, we see a dynamic occur in the middle called wellness, and that's where people get better. Their health is really going to return as a side effect of wellness.